Hello, hello friends. How are you? Fine, na? Once again, welcome to this e-Pathshala. I think in the previous lecture, in the last lecture, we were discussing the elements of drama. And in this, what was the condition of Greek drama and what is the condition of Elizabethan drama? That we have discussed a lot. After that, also we were trying our level best to understand one by one the essential elements of drama. First of all, we have discussed the setting as an element of drama. When we consider that drama is an audiovisual art, this follows that we go to theatre to see the play or to see the performance of the play, and here certain story is being unfolded through characters and dialogue in front of us. Now, even certain story is unfolded in front of us through dialogue and character. The question in our mind is that where this story is unfolded before us through characters and dialogue. Now, if we try to find out the answer of this question, perhaps we will get the answer on the stage, where the story is unfolded before us. The story is unfolded before us on the stage. But even though we get this answer, this is not sufficient. This is insufficient answer. We must need to know the place, the situation, the condition in which the play is taking place. We must know all these things. It is essential for ourselves. It is essential for ourselves. Perhaps it may take place at different places. Considering this, we can say that the place where the play takes place is called setting. Nowadays, the play determined or the dramatist has determined to take care a good description of the stage which he requires for the performance. Nowadays, the dramatist takes good care to describe in minute or in very minute details the type of stage which he requires for the performance. Just we have discussed yesterday also, or in the last lecture also, Vijay Tendulkar's Silence, the Court is in Session. The court is in session. This play describes the bare stage in minute details. This describes the bare stage in minute details. The stage is nothing but it is a hall in suburb, away from village or city. Hall has two small raised, hall is very small. It has a small raised platform like this. It has two doors. Then also it has few or certain frames hanging on the wall. Now, as far as this play is concerned, as far as this performance is concerned, these frames are not so much important. These frames are not so much important. But even then, they need or they are essential to create certain atmosphere. They are essential to create certain atmosphere. What sort of atmosphere the writer the dramatist or the writer wants to create, it is essential for himself to use such type of properties. And perhaps on this stage, these frames are used as the properties or stage properties. So it is essential to have such kind of properties on the stage. Otherwise, it is not possible for the spectators or the audience to believe or to have a desired impact. It is not possible for the writer or for the dramatist to achieve the desired impact on the mind of these readers, on the mind of these spectators, without these stage properties. So these are very much important factor in this drama. Then perhaps second part also we were trying to discuss, that was plot. Exactly what is plot? Perhaps it is a story unfolded before us on the stage. It is a story unfolded before us on the stage. That means drama is a narrative art and it must needs plot. Drama is a narrative art and it must need plot. The very word plot means the story that the dramatist wants to present before his audience. That is, a story of a play evolves out of the plot in the play. It evolves out of the plot of the play. If this is not, then it is not possible for us to have such kind of things. A story needs plot like characters. Very much important element of this drama is this plot. Nowadays, the dramatist takes good care to describe different kinds of things in this plot. Now, plot may be divided in different parts or divided in different sections. Like plot, also characters are the important factor or the important element in this in this drama. Modern characters are like different kinds of things, different kinds of elements. Characters are also very much important element in this drama. A story needs a plot, so it needs characters also. The number of characters depends upon the need of the plot. The number of the characters depends upon the need of the plot or story that the dramatist wants to present before his audience, or the story which dramatist wants to present before his audience. Perhaps modern and postmodern dramatists have proved beyond this conclusion that a play can exist without characters. A play can exist without plot, but it cannot exist without character. Take for example the play William Beckett's Waiting for Godot. Exactly or absolutely nothing happens in this play. No doubt there are two acts first and second, and the important characters in this play are four characters. No doubt there are number of characters, but only these are the four important characters. But what happens in the first act, it is repeated in the second act. What happens in the first act, it is repeated in the second act. Absolutely nothing happens in this play. That is, we can find here even in this play plot is not existing, this play can move forward. This play can move forward. And all the things that takes place in this drama, they are proceeding with the help of the characters. Now, if nothing is happening in this play, that is, plot is not existing in this play, and if the characters are not there, then it is not possible for ourselves to find that the play should proceed forward. So that it is important part that characters are very much important in this play. Now, as far as the number of the character is concerned, just I mentioned that if the story or plot of the play needs, then the number of characters may increase. For example, William Shakespeare's Richard II, Henry V, take for example these two plays or these historical plays. Now the number of characters in this play is very large. It is not possible for ourselves to count the characters, how many characters are present in this play. But this is the need of the play. Now as these are the kings, it is essential that they should have or they must have soldiers, they must have trains, they must have what we can say here that lords, aristocrats. It is the need of this plot, it is the need of this story, and that's why the number of character increases in this play. The number of character increases in this play. However, even the number of characters in this play increases, all the characters are not developed ones. All the characters are not developed ones. Some of these might not even speak a single word, or even they cannot participate in the action. Even though the number of character is much more, it may be possible that some of the characters may not speak a single word, or they may not participate in single action. Dramatist enjoys the freedom of handling these characters, developing these characters. If he wants to disregard these characters, he can. If he wants to develop them, he can. Even if the need of this plot is over, he can wipe them away, or he can take them out of the story. He can introduce certain new characters. If the plot needs, he can introduce certain characters, certain new characters. So this is the total freedom of the dramatist. This is the total freedom of this dramatist. Apart from that, also it is possible for ourselves to find that dramatist enjoys freedom of handling the characters, and according to the need of the plot, if it is essential to introduce, if it is essential to reduce, he can reduce the characters or he can introduce the characters. Then another important factor or another important element in this play, in this drama is conflict. It is said that conflict is the soul of drama. Conflict is the soul of drama. In fact, it is the soul of any literature that aims at telling a story. That is, it is the soul of any literature, any type of literature that aims at telling a story. For example, narrative literature, or that when I'm saying that conflict is the soul of any type of literature, it means that narrative literature presupposes the existence of conflict. Without this conflict, it is not possible to have any kind of story or any kind of thing. If the narrative literature presupposes the existence of this conflict, the question here is that what is the conflict then? What conflicts means? In simple words, we can consider here that conflict means clash or quarrel. Conflict means clash or quarrel. Now, there is difference of opinion. There is difference of opinion on some particular issue, on some particular event, on some particular incident. And perhaps it is the source of the conflict. Perhaps it is the source of the conflict. Say for example, something happens here. Certain event or incident takes place. Now, while I am looking towards this incident, my approach may be different. While you are looking towards this incident or this event, your approach is different. Now, this difference in approach, it may also be considered a kind of conflict. It may also be considered a kind of conflict. This conflict may take any shape. This conflict may take any shape. It is expected to be present in every piece of narrative literature. It is expected to be present in every piece of narrative literature. Generally, conflict between two opposing forces, or generally the conflict is nothing but a kind of what we can say here that conflict is nothing but a thing between two opposite forces such as evil and bad, good and bad, and so on. Such conflicts takes place either externally or internally. Such conflicts takes place either externally or internally. For example, Othello and Iago. In play Othello, there are two characters, Othello and Iago. Now they are, when we are observing the play, when we are reading the play, we can find that they are, in fact, to show that they are friends. But in reality, it is not possible for ourselves to believe that they are friends. They are a kind of enemy. Now the enmity between them, Iago and Othello, the enmity between them, what sort of this conflict is? Othello and Iago, it is external, it is open. On the contrary, in Silence the Court is in session. Silence, the court is in session. There is a character, Miss Lina Benare. Now the conflict which is going on in the mind of this character, that is internal conflict. That is internal conflict. Conflict is something that lends an appeal to the play. Varied conflicts are possible in one single play. That is, in single play, we can find different kinds of conflicts. We can find external conflict, we can find internal conflicts. The characters are quarreling with each other on the basis of different kinds of principles, on the basis of different kinds of approaches, or sometimes the clashes are going on inwardly in the mind of certain characters. But the basic conflicts, even we are considering here that there are number of conflicts. The basic types are only two. The basic types of conflicts are only two, and these are internal and external. Any of these can be between two forces. It may be external conflict or it may be internal conflict. It may be between forces, two forces. It may be between two views, it may be between two approaches, it may be between two ideas, it may be between two principles. Just I mentioned here that something happens in front of us. Now there are number of people, there are number of students, but each and everyone has typical kind of approach to see towards that incident or that particular event. So this is when this person is seeing towards this object from this point of view, it is not possible that this may also see towards this incident, likewise that person. His approach may be different. His approach may be different. Perhaps that person's approach may be different. So this is nothing but difference. This is nothing but a kind of conflict. When you are looking towards a particular object from different point of angle or different point of view, this is nothing but conflict. Even the principles, एखाद्या व्यक्तीची वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारची तत्व असतात. म्हणजे तुमची जी तत्व असतील ती माझी असतील असं. And when these are coming together, they clashes with each other. That one is not letting this one to do this kind of thing, or this one is not letting to that to do this kind of thing. And this clash is nothing but a kind of conflict. After that, dialogue. Dialogue is also the important factor in this drama. Like setting characters or conflict, this dialogue is also important factor in this drama. Without it is an important element. Obviously, dialogue is a dominating part of drama because it is through the dialogue that a play or the plot of the story progresses. Without this dialogue, the story of the play cannot progress.